Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. Today we are going to continue with electric energy and power in electrical circuits. Now, yesterday we were discussing about carbon resistors and temperature coefficient of resistance. We were discussing formulas on the variation of temperature with resistivity as well as resistance. And we found out that the resistivity or a resistance of a material increases when you increase the temperature in the case of conductors, and in the case of semiconductors we found that the resistivity and resistance of a conductor or of a semiconductor decreases with increase in temperature. So this is what we were discussing yesterday. Okay ma? Today we are going to continue with electrical energy. So what is electrical energy and what is electrical power? That is what we are going to learn. So this is our topic today. Class 12 physics, current electricity. We are going to continue with part 6. So energy and power in electrical circuits. Now here is a circuit diagram where there is a battery is connected to the left side and a resistor is connected to the right side. Now this resistor may be a fan or a fluorescent lamp, anything. So resistor which resists the flow of charges in it, you call it as a resistor. Okay, right. Now when a battery is concerned, as you know, when a battery is connected to a circuit, immediately what happens, children? Definitely there will be a current flow in the circuit. Yes or no? Definitely current flow, right? So what is happening whenever there is a current flow? It means that the energy that is there in the battery is given to the resistor in the circuit. Okay, so what is the work of a battery here? It transports the energy. Okay, it transports its energy to the resistor that is connected in the circuit. Is it clear? So that is what we are going to learn. So when the energy is transmitted, so what is the energy and how do you define the energy as? That is what we are going to learn here. Okay, so to start with, let us assume the battery has got a voltage V. So V represents the voltage of a battery. Now let us assume a charge of dq. Let me write here. So let us consider some amount of charge which is dq, which moves from A to B through the battery. So the charge is moving from A to B through the battery, and when it comes to the resistor, it moves from C to D. Now this is the direction of current. So the current moves from positive terminal to the negative terminal. So this is the direction of current, and when it comes to resistor, it moves from C to D. So in the battery it is from A to B, in the resistor it is from C to D. Okay ma? Now when the charge moves from A to B, it gains a potential energy. Okay, so what is the energy gained by the charge? It is given as du. Okay, du, this is equal to V into dq. Am I right? So potential formula is work done per unit charge. This is potential formula, or work done is V into Q. Work done is nothing but we say it as potential. You remember, work done is equal to potential, and work done is nothing but energy. So it gains an energy whose value is equal to du is equal to V into dq. Okay, so what, from where this charge is gaining the energy? Now the energy is gained from the chemical reaction that is taking place inside the battery. Now usually whenever we consider a battery, inside a battery we have two electrodes, which we are going to learn in the next topic. There are two electrodes inside a battery. One is a positive electrode, the other one is a negative electrode, and there is also a solution inside a battery which you call it as electrolyte. So there is always a chemical reaction that is taking place between the electrodes and the electrolyte, and one electrode becomes positively charged, the other electrode becomes negatively charged, and there is always a potential difference that is existing between the terminals of a battery. So chemical reaction and the energy is chemical energy. So when it is connected to an external circuit, when a battery is connected, immediately the charges, they start moving, and the chemical energy that is present inside the battery is converted into electrical energy. So that electrical energy is gained by the charges, which is equal to V into dq. Is it clear? Right? So this passes through the resistor. So the charge, they gain the energy from the battery and it goes to the resistor. So this energy is given to where? It is given to the resistor. Okay, and when the energy is given, what happens? Now the resistor, you have positive ions there, so there will be a collision taking place there. So there will be a very strong collision taking place inside the resistor, and thus the energy that is gained through the battery, it is given to the resistor, and the energy starts decreasing here. Okay, so again the charges come out, once again it goes to the battery, gains energy, it gives. So this process goes on. Okay, so this process occurs continuously until the battery is connected in the circuit. Okay, is it clear? So what is happening inside the resistor is the energy that is given to the resistor is dissipated as heat energy as far as these electrical appliances are concerned. Now when you switch on a bulb for half an hour, the bulb glows, right? After half an hour you go and switch off it. Now when you go and touch the bulb, what do you observe? What do you observe, children? You cannot touch it because you feel that heat. So what is happening here? Whatever energy has been given, has been given by the battery, it is converted, it is going to the resistor, and the energy is given there, and due to the collisions the energy dissipates as heat and light there. So the energy that is given, so the rate at which the energy is given is nothing but you call it as power. The rate at which the work is done is nothing but you call it as power. Is it clear, children? So the power, I'm going to introduce what is called as electrical power. Electrical power is nothing but rate at which the potential energy, that is the energy that is gained by the charge. So the rate at which the potential energy is delivered to the resistor is nothing but you call it as power. So power is rate of work done. So how do you define the formula for power, children? Power is work done by time. So work done is measured in joules, time is measured in second. So the unit of power is joule per second. Okay, so rate of work done is power. Okay, so we'll see power work done is nothing but potential. Now here we have the formula, du is equal to v into dq, which is nothing but dv, right? Potential. So power is dv by dt, okay, or d by dt of, we know the formula for v as v into dq, right? So this is equal to, take v out, you have dq by dt. What is dq by dt? What is dq by dt, children? dq by dt is I, right? Yes or no? So here is the formula for power, which is P is equal to V into I. Now this is one formula. So which is the product of voltage and current. The product of voltage and current in a circuit is nothing but you call it as power, or power is rate of work done. Okay. Now the SI unit of power. Now how do you measure power? The SI unit of power is watt. Okay. But this watt is considered to be a larger unit. So we will not measure in watt. Instead we measure in kilowatt. Now power is nothing but energy. Now electrical energy, for example, in our home. Now electrical energy is measured in electrical energy, commercial unit of electrical energy. Let me write here. Electrical energy is measured in kilowatt hour, measured in kWh. Now this you can see in your meter board. Whenever the people from electricity board, they come and take the reading, they will say 110 units, 220 units, this much units of current has been, this much unit of energy is consumed. Now that is measured in kilowatt hour. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour is 1 unit. Okay, when you go to the meter board, in that meter box there is a small button on the right side. Now when you press that, you will be able to see the unit. This unit you can see there, kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour is 1 kilowatt hour is nothing but 1 unit. Okay, watt is considered to be a larger unit, so you go for kilowatt hours. Okay, so electrical power is what? Commercially, the electric bulbs used in houses come with the power and voltage rating. So whenever you take a bulb, for example, in that bulb they would have written, now this is the power and this is the voltage, all the values would have been written on the bulb. So power rating, you will have 5 watt bulb, 10 watt bulb, 100 watt bulb. So that watt represents the power. Okay ma, is it clear? Right. So let us come back to this formula. P is equal to VI. Now we know the formula for now this I can write. Let me write here children. So P is equal to V into I. I know from Ohm's law V is equal to I into R, correct? From Ohm's law. So substitute P is equal to, instead of V you substitute I into R into I. So here you have I square R, which is also the formula for power. So this is the first formula. Now this is the second formula. And also I can write from Ohm's law I is equal to V by R, correct? Substitute again here. So P is equal to V you write as such, instead of I you substitute V by R. So I can write this as V square by R, which is also the formula for power. See, look at the formulas. P is equal to VI, P is equal to I square R, P is equal to V square by R. So all these are the formulas for power. Now you will be using these formulas to solve numerical problems. Okay, so based on the data given, you can use any of these formulas. Is it clear children? Right? So, and I was also telling you about electrical energy. Electrical energy is measured in kilowatt hour, and 1 kilowatt hour is known as 1 unit of electrical energy. And all these data are there in your textbook in page number 100 children. Okay ma, is it clear? So with this I wanted to discuss the problem, example problem, which is there in your textbook children. Page number 101 you take. 101, let us discuss the example 2.15. I'll just explain you the problem so that you understand. You have to do this today, right? Example 2.15 you take children. A battery of voltage V is connected to a 30 watt bulb and a 60 watt bulb as shown in the figure. Identify brightest bulb, and B, which bulb has greater resistance, and C, suppose two bulbs are connected in series, which bulb will grow brighter. So there are three questions. The first question is identify the brightest bulb. So which bulb glows brightly? That is the question. Okay. So look at the diagram. There is a circuit diagram given there. Two bulbs, and they are connected parallel. How they are connected? Parallel or series? They are connected parallel. So let us see the solution for the first one. Okay. Now the power delivered by the battery P is equal to V into I. We know the formula, just now we read. Since the bulbs are connected in parallel, the voltage drop across each bulb is the same. So when resistors are connected in parallel, the voltage will remain the same, current alone will be varying. That is what we read. So what is the potential between these two? Well, the potential will remain the same. That is, the value of V will remain the same. Yes or no? Okay. So the voltage drop across each bulb is the same. If the voltage is kept fixed, then the power is directly proportional to current. So look at this formula. Now if voltage is going to be fixed, if voltage is going to be the same, then power has a dependence only on current, right? Right? So if V is going to be the same, so power depends on current, right? So P directly proportional to I. Okay ma? Right. So 60 watt bulb draws twice as much as current. So what is the power of each bulb? One bulb is having a power of 30 watt, the other one is having a power of 60 watt. So whichever is having the greater power, it will take more amount of current. So which bulb has got the greatest power? It is 60 watt bulb. Okay, so 60 watt bulb draws twice as much as current as 30 volt, and bulb A or B here. So 60 watt bulb will glow brightly than the 30 watt bulb. So that is the first answer. Identify the brightest bulb means which bulb is brighter is 60 watt bulb will be brighter. Okay. Now the second question, which bulb has greater resistance? Which bulb has greater resistance? Now where the current flow is lesser ma? The current flow is lesser in the 30 watt bulb. So which bulb has got greater resistance? Naturally 30 watt bulb has greater resistance, right? And the third question is, the two bulbs are connected in series. Which bulb will glow brighter? Okay. Now the connection is changed now. Now the question is, if they are going to be connected in series. Just wait 1 minute ma. Okay, so when they are connected in series, now which becomes the same here now? Current becomes the same. Yes or no? When resistors are connected in series, current in the circuit will remain the same, potential will vary. So according to the question, now the bulbs are connected in series. So in that case, the current passing through the each bulb is the same, right? So the bulb which has higher resistance has higher voltage drop. So 30 watt bulb will glow brighter than 60 watt bulb. Here look at the change here children. When the bulb was connected parallel, whichever bulb has got the highest power, it was glowing very brightly. But whereas when connected in series, whichever bulb has the lowest power will glow brightly due to the voltage drop. Hope you understand the concept very clearly, right? So 30 watt bulb will glow brighter than 60 watt bulb. So the higher power rating does not always imply more brightness, which is very important because it is the brightness is due to the voltage drop here, not with the power here. So you have to understand this concept clearly, children. Okay, and it depends whether bulbs are connected in series or parallel. When connected in parallel, 60-watt bulb glow brightly, whereas connected in series, 30-watt bulb will glow brightly. Is it clear, children? Is it clear? So this is a very important example, and there is one more example, children, 2.16. That also, the question is, two electric bulbs marked 20 watt 220 volt and 100 watt 220 volt are connected in series to 440 volt supply. Which bulb will be fused? Okay, it has been solved. I think you can understand this very easily. You have to find out the voltage drop, and then from that we need to find out which will fuse. Okay, so it is a easy problem. I think you can work it out this, right? Okay, so work it out, and let me clear your doubts if you have anything, right? With this, we are moving on to electric cells and batteries. Now, this is the structure of a simple electric cell. Okay, electric cell. Now, when this is a single cell, when cells are connected together, when more than one cell is connected together, you call it as a battery. Okay, so let us see how a simple electric cell, what is there inside. Okay, right. Now, as I told you earlier, what is happening in an electric cell? Now, chemical energy is converted into electrical energy in a simple cell. Okay, so what is happening? How the chemical reactions? What are the things that are present inside a cell? That is what we are going to learn here. Okay, ma? Right. An electric cell converts chemical energy into electrical energy. Now, there are two electrodes. Look at this diagram. There are two electrodes. Now, one is a positive electrode and one is a negative electrode. Now, this positive electrode is a carbon electrode here, children. And this negative electrode is the zinc rod. Actually, this is a zinc rod. This is a carbon rod. Okay, and carbon electrode is said to be positive and zinc electrode is considered to be the negative electrode. Okay, right. Now these two electrodes are immersed in a solution called, here it is sulfuric acid. Now this sulfuric acid is nothing but electrolyte. What is this? This is called as electrolyte. Okay, right. So, when several cells are connected together, you call it as a battery. That also I told you. Now, what happens here when this is done? Electrodes immersed in an electrolyte. What happens here is the electrons in the negative terminal, which is the zinc rod, it starts moving towards the positive terminal. Okay, so when it is moving through, there is a chemical reaction that is taking place between the electrolyte and the electrodes, which creates a potential difference across the terminals. That is why we write here as positive and negative. So due to the chemical reaction that is taking place here, there is a potential difference that is created. One rod becomes completely positive charges and the other rod becomes full of negative charges. So this potential difference which gives the energy. Okay, so chemical energy. Now when this is connected to an external circuit, this chemical energy will be converted into electrical energy. So this is the simple structure of an electric cell. Are you able to understand, children? Now next we move on to a very important, now before we go on to this, take page number 103, children. There is a small but a very important topic which is called as electromotive force. Simply we'll write as EMF. EMF, and I'm going to also discuss about what is called as an internal resistance. Okay, very important word. One is EMF, the other one is internal resistance. Okay, now we saw the structure of a simple cell. and this cell or a battery is a source of EMF. EMF in the sense, EMF is electromotive force. Okay, now here the electrons are made to move inside the electrolyte. Now this is in the absence of an electrical circuit. Now there is no electrical circuit connected here. It is just simply a cell. Now where the electrons are made to move due to the reaction that is taking place between the electrodes and the electrolyte inside the cell. So there is always a potential difference that is created due to the chemical reaction. So this potential difference between the terminals of a battery in the absence of an electric circuit, you call it as electromotive force. So whenever we talk about EMF, we talk about EMF in an open circuit. Open circuit means when the circuit is not closed. That is when the battery is not connected to an external circuit. So in an open circuit, the potential difference between the terminals of the battery A and B is nothing but you call it as EMF. Okay, there exists, as I told you, there is always a potential difference that is existing between the terminals of this battery. Okay, so this potential difference is nothing but you call it as EMF. Okay, and I told you there is always potential difference means there is always a current flow, but here inside the cell the current flow is from negative to positive, right? So here also you have what is called as resistance. There is always a resistance inside a cell which opposes the movement of the current when it is connected externally. There will be a current flow. When I connect it to an external circuit, current will be flowing from the positive to negative, and inside it is from negative to positive. So again, wherever there is a current flow, there is always a resistance that is opposing the current. So the resistance which is there inside the battery, you call it as internal resistance. Now this internal resistance is represented by small r. Okay, very important word. EMF is the potential difference between the terminals of a battery in an open circuit. You call it as EMF. But when you connect this battery to an external circuit, now you connect it to a resistor, then what happens? There will be a current flow, there will be a potential difference. That is potential difference in a closed circuit. In an open circuit, you call that potential difference as EMF. In a closed circuit, you just call it as simply potential difference, which is voltage. Okay, EMF, potential difference. EMF is in an open circuit. Potential difference is in a closed circuit. Is it clear? Now take your book, page number 103, electromotive force and internal resistance. A battery or cell is called a source of electromotive force. The term electromotive force is a misnomer since it does not really refer to a force but describes a potential difference in volt. The EMF of a battery or a cell is the voltage provided by the battery when no current flows in the external circuit. Now here it is not connected to an external circuit, but still there is a potential difference between the terminals of the battery. You call that as EMF. Okay ma? Right. Now electromotive force determines the amount of work a battery or a cell does to move a certain amount of charge around the circuit. Now it is denoted by the symbol psi. So EMF is represented as psi, and this EMF is across the battery in an open circuit. Okay. Now there is always a resistance to the flow of charges within the battery. As I told you, inside the electrolyte, the charges move. The charges move from negative terminal to the positive terminal, right? Now, whenever the charges move, there is a resistance to the flow of charges. There is always a resistance. There is always a resistance that opposes the flow of charges. Now, that resistance is nothing but you call it as internal resistance, which is represented by small r. So, this also I have already discussed. So, with these two very important words, we will be proceeding to the internal resistance of the cell in the next class, children. So, go through the topics, whatever has been discussed. If any doubts, please call me. Okay. See you, children.